all of us have heard young people referred to as digital natives. But actually, I'm sort of skeptical about this term. I'm not so sure we should be thinking of young people as digital natives. When you really look at it, how is it that young people spend most of their time using new technologies? You often see them in situations like this or like this. And there's no doubt that young people are very comfortable and familiar browsing and chatting and texting and gaming. But that doesn't really make you fluent. So young people today have lots of experience and lots of familiarity with interacting with new technologies, but a lot less so of creating with new technologies and expressing themselves with new technologies. It's almost as if they can read but not write with new technologies. And I'm really interested in seeing how can we help young people become fluent so they can write with new technologies. And that really means that they need to be able to write their own computer programs or code. Again, it's useful to make an analogy to reading and writing. When you learn to read and write, it opens up opportunities for you to learn so many other things. When you learn to read, you can then read to learn. And it's the same thing with coding. If you learn to code, you can code to learn. Now, some of the things you can learn are sort of obvious. You learn more about how computers work, but that's just where it starts. When you learn to code, it opens up for you to learn many other things. So he was learning many different core principles of design, about how to experiment with new ideas, how to take complex ideas and break them down into simpler parts, how to collaborate with other people on your projects, about how to find and fix bugs when things go wrong, how to keep persistent and to persevere in the face of frustrations when things aren't working well. Now, those are important skills that aren't just relevant for coding. They're relevant for all sorts of different activities. Now, who knows if Victor is going to grow up and become a programmer or a professional computer scientist? It's probably not so likely, but regardless of what he does, he'll be able to make use of these design skills that he learned, regardless of whether he grows up to be a marketing manager or a mechanic or a community organizer. That these ideas are useful for everybody. Again, it's useful to think about this analogy with language. When you become fluent with reading and writing, it's not something that you're doing just to become a professional writer. Very few people will become professional writers, but it's useful for everybody to learn how to read and write. Again, the same thing with coding. Most people won't grow up to become professional, computer scientists or programmers, but those skills of thinking creatively, reasoning systematically, working collaboratively, skills you develop when you code and scratch, are things that people can use no matter what they're doing in their work lives.